Hey Capricorn, welcome to my channel. It's January, guys. Happy New Year. I would like to start off by saying please like and subscribe to my channel for any updates through the year. It's weird, all the first cards, this is my second reading, but for Taurus as well, the first card just like falls out as soon as I start shuffling. It's like, let me out, this is for me. So guys, New Year, this is my favorite time of year. This is the time of year where it's kind of collective energy. Interesting. Collective energy where everybody is starting to reflect on the year we had last year. Like just right now while I'm recording, it's the 28th, I think, of December. Everybody's starting to reflect on the year we've had and things that we value, like what we wish to change, like tackling our bad habits, like, you know, whether it's eating, overindulging, wanting to be more fitter. I feel like this time of year we're all collectively doing that. So this is a really, really good time to start like having goals and achieving them, because the energy is supporting that. It's like a global thing that we're all doing. So if we use it to our benefit, it's a great tool, right? To support all of our wants and our desires. So I kind of love it. It's my favorite time of year, really, from Christmas to now, for that reason. Interesting. So I am using, guys, I'm using the Shapeshifter Oracle by Lucy Cavendish, and then also Hidden Worlds, and then I'm also using the Work Your Light Oracle as well. As you know, if you follow me, that I go with what I'm drawn to. I literally, before doing my readings, I'll go to all my cards and select the ones that feel right. And then when I'm doing it, I don't even have a plan on how I am going to lay out my cards. I just kind of go with what feels right in that moment and go from it. I feel as though there's something more. Okay, that one. I'll do it like that for you guys. Okay, cool. Okay, let's start. So, it's a little bit different to how I did it with Taurus at the end. So we'll see what that means for you guys. We start off with the Little Red Riding Hood, Capricorn. So Capricorn, you are not a victim. So if you have spent 2022 being a victim from your circumstances, it's now time to change that. You are not a victim. And that wolf behind you is something that, like, if you're choosing to be the wolf, so the wolf is a predator, right? He sees things in the way he needs to see them to protect himself. And I'm feeling that, Capricorn, that's something you've done for yourself throughout this year. It's like a layer of protection you've put upon yourself. So you become this wolf, the bad one. And the wolf in the Little Red Riding Hood is the bad guy. And so he puts on a cloak and he dresses up as a sweet little grandmother. He dresses up as the good guy. So this to me gives me, as how I read and observe and see things, that the way I need to read this to you is saying that you've been putting on sheep's clothing, telling everybody that maybe, you know, being the innocent here, like, oh, it's not my fault, I've been, and, you know, and maybe bad-mouthing, maybe putting someone in a bad light to make yourself appear victimized. If that does relate to you, Capricorn, you're not a victim. And owning and wearing that costume, it's not benefiting your life in any way, shape or form. It actually is what that kind of protection doesn't protect you. That kind of protection is like wearing armor that's too heavy. So if you were to go into battle, it's actually a weakness. And that's what I'm seeing this. You need to realize that you're not a victim, that we all go through things in life. And by wearing an armor that's too heavy for us, we're weakening ourselves. And I feel as though that really doesn't show you and your true potential. So what you are attracting to your life is always going to be less than what you deserve, less than what you're worth. This is paired with insight, magical tools, writing and starcrafting. To me, I would say this is healing. Now, this is a healing time. Now, coming into the first 2 weeks of January, we have Mercury in retrograde. This is a really good time with all of the planets. We actually have 3 planets retrograding. Obviously, each planet signifies something else. We have Mercury, which again is communication, which means, like, if you are playing, I'm going to use it all, if you're playing the victim in that kind of way, drawing Mercury in retrograde is going to come back to bite you if you are not owning it and bettering. Sorry, I nearly whacked my mic all over the place. I am outside on this table. It's very shaky, so if you do start shaking about, that's just me knocking the table. It's the time for reflection. Mercury, right? So that's the planet of communication. So what I just said about that is how that may affect you if you are choosing to be a victim. It's going to bring up a lot of stuff for yourself, because Mercury is kind of like that friend who will tell you exactly what is what's the truth. It'll bring things up that you don't want to face, because it's saying this is what you need to be communicating with. This is what you need, where you need to grow, what needs to change, and bringing dynamics that might, like, things that happen to us are happening to trigger something within us to grow. Because the universe and the world does not work with staying still. Nothing ever stands still. Things shift. Even buildings that have been there, like look at buildings that have been there for centuries, they're not the same as when they were first built. They've shifted. They have cracks. They've had to be remodeled, because nothing stays the same, no matter how hard you try. So keep that in mind. And then we have Uranus, which is the planet of freedom. Now, Uranus is in Taurus, so it's retrograding in Taurus during this time, right? So while it is doing that, Taurus is about foundations, things that are solid and things that have value to us. Now, I'm again going to use this in the same mindset because of how I'm reading, where I'm reading it during your reading. So let's say you are in a victim mindset during this time. Uranus is going to be putting hurdles in the way to show you that that's not in alignment with you. It's not going to get you towards your freedom. And again, with Taurus, it's about things that are foundational, that keep you grounded, things that are comfortable, that we value most. A Taurian, that energy is all about grounding energy and things that luxury. So by luxury, that's different to everybody, and freedom appears different to everybody. So if you are not having that, it's going to be kind of shaking you all over the place, because you're not kind of seeing the opportunities that are there, because you're shattering your opportunities with this desire to be whatever, this bad guy, this wolf, instead of being Little Red Riding Hood, who's living her life innocently. She's going from A to B. She's just, and keep that in mind if you are being it towards a person, actually. Obviously, as some of you may know, if you follow me, I have Capricorn energy with somebody, and I'm a Taurus. And I can see this, as in, I could see me being this Little Red Riding Hood. It sounds so stupid that I'm saying like this, but it can be relevant and help you understand. I'm being this Little Red Riding Hood. I'm doing the best I can with everything. I am not being malicious. I am trying to just focus on my life. I'm trying to do what's best for my children. Then I have a wolf who is kind of saying things that she's doing this, she's doing that, and it's for a purpose, because they're wanting to gain something, but again, it's them living maliciously towards me, being this little Red Riding Hood. I'm just trying to live my best life, right, Capricorn? So what I'm saying here with this insight, this magical tool, is by focusing on you and what's in alignment with you. Realize that you also are Little Red Riding Hood. You need to go from A to B. We all are that Riding Hood. We're not the wolf. We are not bad people. We sometimes make bad choices or do things that is in alignment with kind of where we are at, low vibing, or, the energy that we're working with can really take its toll. And it just puts you in that space. And the only way you're getting out of that is by you. Now, this is paired with Insight Magical Tool. To me, it's saying by taking this time to reflect on and not take any rash actions, it's about kind of gaining your wisdom and realizing really what is it that you want. I want you to kind of come back down to this grounding. I don't know if you have a grounding card. We will see as we go through it. But again, I want you to focus on realizing that you want your best life, yeah? How do we get there? Not by being an asshole. The third planet that is retrograding is Mars. Now, Mars is a planet that can entice conflict. It can make you make rash decisions, passionate decisions, which are not coming from a place of taking your time to think about what you want. And it is a passionate planet. When it's retrograding, it's going to cause make people say the wrong things, make you understand things maybe incorrectly, because you're getting that rash instant action and not allowing yourself to process. Keep that in mind. Be wise. Listen to your insights before actioning, and before taking that sneaky route to create the path for you. Because realizing, Capricorn, that we are in this energy where we're paving the way. What you set in January is going to set the templates for the rest of the year. It just is. You're manifesting a very, like I said, with this collective energy, that's a spell, that's a tool. And so what you create in this moment right now is what you are going to be asking the universe for and telling them what you want. So if you tell the universe that you're going to be sneaky, it will pave out. Just watch this space. The unending sadness of looking back. Endless regrets, obsessive grief, replaying the past, and negative nostalgia. Take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. It's definitely not a time for action, and the energies in the air for the first 2 weeks of January is to slow down and reflect. It's not a time for acting. It's not a time for putting yourself in the world. And I kind of feel like, again, with the energies over Christmas, the world works like that a little bit. If we actually follow cycles and understand our own patterns, that January is a time for, we are supposed to just get back into work. But really, if we look on an energetic level, it's really about restarting, refreshing, because the year has ended and we're beginning something new. It's a time for new beginnings. So I do feel like there is this sadness that comes with you. Now, putting a little softer end to that wolf vibe, I do feel like it's coming from a space of just what you've been through. For me, 2022 was the worst year of my life, so I can understand this greatly. And it comes with sadness and grief. And I do think 2022 for a lot of us it can be something that could stay with you for a while if you allow it. Obviously, when you listen to a reading, you go for a reading, you're being given insight into the energies you're working with, so you can make it better. This is a chance for you to have insight and to improve. It's about growth, right? I feel as though this could be quite heavy for you. I kind of want to say to you, don't hold on to it, but I do want you to reflect on it. I need it to soften you, and because I feel as though and if you look at the imagery on this, she is holding, I cannot remember what they're called, one of those hard shell creatures, prehistoric creatures, and this to me, I feel is like you're that hard shell creature. I feel like you've put on this hard shell, which is why I keep mentioning like armor, heavy armor. I feel like you've put on this hard shell, and I need you to soften yourself. And again, this is a healing process for you. You're being guided to take a break, and realize again, life is work. But work, it doesn't, and Capricorn, you're a hard worker. It is literally kind of part of your essence that makes you really, really good at working hard at something. So life is that. It's never something that would naturally come. It does naturally come easy because we're all living. But what I mean by this, it's like, it's not something that just is always just a pile of roses. It is work. We have to nourish what we have. We have to kind of sometimes refresh our perspective on things, because when we go through the hard times, it really can knock us back. And what we can do with that is we can allow ourselves to hold on to that and hold grief for a very long time, and that just keeps you in a space. And like I said, we're not meant to stay in one space. We're meant to grow and evolve as people. And I get a sense of there just being a great loss for you. And I think that there's something there for you to see and reflect on. And again, softening is coming. I feel like you need to marshmallow up a bit. And realize that your vulnerability is a tool. Like if I had my tarot cards out, the strength card would be here. The strength card comes when our vulnerability, like I read it in several different ways, but in this instant, it's like when a vulnerability is really your asset. It's realizing that if you want to achieve your goals in life. And this is that time where we're setting these goals and reflecting on what we have and what we don't have, and where we want to be in life. We need to appreciate our humanity. We are not tools that can just be like robotic. We are humans. We feel things, and that's okay. And we're meant to work with that. That's meant to be an asset. That's why if we look at all kind of the animal kingdom, the animals with the higher empathy, they interact with the world very differently than maybe an insect who doesn't have that empathic need. It just walks until and eats and keeps going until it dies, or it's a food source. We're not like that. We empathize, and we're meant to be empathetic. We're meant to be compassionate to ourselves and others, to have a fulfilling life, to be a benefit. And a bug just landed on me. To be a benefit to... I'm going to try and move this bug. Here you go, little bug. To be able to achieve greatness in our life. Sorry, that bug really distracted me for a second there. Let's move on to our next cards. Now, you had 2 cards in this position, along with the key card. We have the little wolf girl. I had this in Taurus as well. And I had the phoenix of the waning moon. I feel like this is an earth sign thing. Now, the little wolf girl says it's all right to be alone. Now, I am the best person to talk to you about this, because generally I'm alone all the time. I have my children, but I don't have many friends. I live in a secluded area. I do like that. I like being alone sometimes. It means that you have time to really work on yourself and understand yourself in the world. I feel like sometimes we're all that busy all the time that we kind of get sad and depressed because we haven't allowed ourselves to relax. And I feel like that's the benefits of being alone. But it's perspective again. And what I'm getting from my reading so far is that perspective is key this year. If you see yourself as lonely when you're alone, then your perspective is off. Because just because you're alone doesn't mean you have to feel lonely. I feel like it can be an asset. You're going through new beginnings. Something is about to end for now. Taurus also had this, and I feel like something's coming to an end for you guys. That's going to bring some sadness and make you feel very lonely. Now, I kind of think that, again, with perspective, we all need to be working on how we see things this year. I feel like there's something that you need to realize is an asset to you to get you where with what you want, your actual aspirations. Interesting. There is sadness and grief. All of this beginning for you, Capricorn, comes with grief, and it's paired with your keyword is the relics of Lemuria, fragments, memories, and reclaiming. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink a second. You do need to be reflecting on the past. I feel as though, I don't want to say like looking back on what went wrong, because I don't believe that things go wrong for us as such. But I feel like in order for you to understand it, I need to say it like that. It's looking back at what went wrong in order to not make the same mistakes. I feel as though the universe has done that to this year. It's made us go through so much stuff for us to not make the same mistakes again. And I feel like this is a great time for you to be reflecting on that. But with that said, I want you to remember good stuff. I want you to remember the good times and what went right, the good things and the good moments, and realizing that even though something bad happened, a lot of greatness came to that. Now, so I'll use myself as an example. So I went through a massive breakup, and when you go through a breakup, you can look at it from a very negative perspective. There's a loss. You've lost a person. Using myself, I never wanted to lose my best friend. I never wanted to not have that person in my life ever. That was never even a thing for me. It was just, the relationship was ending. It's coming to an end. So I will grieve, I have grieved the loss of that person's energy, of them, their essence, right? Because that person just doesn't exist anymore in my life, unfortunately. And so I could really focus on that loss and focus on the person that is now. But it's not. I won't, because there was great times. And that was something in my life that I had gained And I feel like Capricorn, that's something you need to do, is realizing the good stuff that you gained from that experience, and realizing that we go through tides and seasons of loss and gain, and we're not meant to hold on to the sadness. We're meant to appreciate what that brought to our lives, the things we learned from that, and even the sad things are teaching us lessons. And I feel like that is really beneficial for you to have that kind of perspective and kind of shift the perspective, because I feel as though it's going from a very negative, low energy vibration space into a much more kind of light, positive space. So keep that in mind for yourself, Capricorn. Okay, I'm just going to make sure we are recording yet. I would have just cried if not. Okay, we have wolf. There's a lot of wolves here for you. Very interesting. Now, a wolf is an animal that should never be alone. In the sense of a lone wolf is not typically a typical wolf. Wolves travel in packs. They have family. They have community. So keep that in mind, Capricorn. I feel as though you are not meant to be somebody who secludes himself from life. I feel like that is really channeling through this reading for you, Capricorn. I will watch over you. Interesting. This is paired with Skyfire, messages, channels, information. You have loved ones that have passed with you. They're watching over and they're guiding you through this time. Very interesting. I actually feel like... So in the beginning I mentioned like the Little Red Riding Hood and then the wolf. And I feel like the Little Red Riding Hood in your life, if that applied to a person, a situation, where, again, that you're kind of attacking more than probably you should, is what I want to say, actually. I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to fudge around. I say it as it is, Capricorn. That they're still rooting for you, no matter what. It feels as though they're still going to do, have a kind word for you, have that kind of compassion for you, even if you don't feel it. So that's something to perspect on as well, for you. But I feel as though divinely you are being nurtured through this time. You are protected. You're being watched over. And you have family, you have community, even if you don't see it. I want to say it's in the whispers. I feel like it's very subtle because it has to be. So the fact that, it's like where I don't see it, nobody's there for me, is kind of what I can see, the words that may come through, because it's subtle, perhaps because you push it away, perhaps because of how the walls that you built up are so strong in that nothing can get through that. So even the whispers of those vibes, that energy, it can't be felt by you, but it's there. Our next card, Mintakan. Okay, you have Elizabeth and the Lion. It's time to be a great leader. This came through for Taurus as well. You have Mintakan, longing for home, belonging, and the original light workers. Very interesting. So, I do feel like it's time for you to start putting on your big boy pants. Big girl pants is not gender related in any of this. My readers are not gender related. But it's time to put on the big pants and realize that you are a natural born leader. Capricorn, it's in your essence anyway. You know that is like a typical trait of a Capricorn, is that you can lead others and very easily. It comes natural to you, right? It's part of your energy, your makings. This is there for you, but it's time for you to start activating that. I feel as though you took a back seat and decided to stop leading. I feel like you decided it was too hard, maybe. And this is saying like that is where you're at home, is by being that person, by being that provider of something that you have to offer others, right? It's time for you to put on those big pants and realize your place in your universe, in your world, whatever that is. And I do feel it's in alignment with you. It's your makings. The sun is getting in that annoying spot. I feel like my face is getting little lights all over it. So I apologize if my face looks a bit weird. It's the light. And I feel like this, you have this longing for something. It's grief. I do feel like this is a time of grief for you, a feeling of loss. It's your birthday period as well, Capricorn, isn't it? And perhaps it's not all it was made up to be for some reason. I feel as though there comes this, again, just feeling as though something's missing. So it's your journey to discover what that is. I do feel like there's a very vague energy in the air at the moment in terms of what we're going for. I feel like the universe has very big astrological plans for us this year, the next few years. This is a time of really great astrology. But for all of those living through it, it comes to a time of massive changes, and that can come with a feeling of resistance. People nowadays, we resist change because we're very comfortable in the known, in what we know. We want to, because we're all connected now, we can see things, we're like in the second it's happened, it's on the news, that kind of thing. So now when things are not revealing to us, it's uncomfortable, but we're meant to be uncomfortable because we're meant to realize that things that are worth having are worth waiting for. Keep that in mind. But it's a vague energy, as though there's going to be a lot of unexpected things that happen, but it's a good thing, favorable. And it's all about kind of breaking us to a space where we are that vulnerable person that can experience the good times from a much healthier space. Bats in the belfry, you can achieve great things. Now, Capricorn, I do feel like you are in a great space for that. New beginnings of creating something. And the secret is the unknown, the mysteries and the wonders. I feel like adventure is in store for you. If you embrace adventure of just not really knowing where you're going, and allowing yourself to kind of maybe be, and this to me is against Capricorn energy sometimes, but allowing yourself to just be impulsive in the sense of something's just come up and a dragonfly. That's a really great symbol as well, guys. I think dragonflies symbolize good changes. Have a look. I don't know. I can't remember. But it is a very good sign. It's a dragonfly. Flew straight over the screen. I don't know if you saw it fast enough. It was very fast. Yeah. What's going to work to achieve great things is by you kind of just flowing and maybe taking up opportunities that you might not have done before. I feel as though if you have to make choices, your best asset, Capricorn, is to maybe do the opposite of what your stubbornness tells you to do. Do the opposite. I feel like there's great opportunities in being different to what would be your usual. Very interesting. It's kind of, yeah, I'm loving it, actually. It's a vibe. Loving it. You have the golden phoenix, and you have a few phoenixes. Now realize that a phoenix dies before it is reborn, which, again, tower moments. Things crash down, things completely crumble before you can rebuild something much better, much stronger, that maybe suits your needs now. So like what you had before, it may have been great, but what you have in store is better. It's like that kind of energy. Something you thought finished bursts back into life. And I think this is your essence, actually, like a life essence. So maybe you felt like, again, maybe you felt like you were dying. I definitely felt like that myself this year. Oh, the light things fell off. There's times where I'm just like, I felt like, what is the point? I really, it's been a really shit year for me, I'm telling you. Where I just felt like the only thing I'm living for is my children, and that's worth living for. But like, it was like, what's the point? Like, what? I go one step and then I'm 10 steps back, or something else is thrown at me. I've been abused and all that kind of energy. And it's like your life force is coming back. You realize that there's never just, this is it. There's always more. There's always something else. And it may not always be good. It may be good and bad, but there are great stuff ahead of you. And being reborn is a really great feeling. It's like a new lease of life. And that's what I feel for you, Capricorn. And I love that with you. Full Moon Temple, celebration, peak, transcendent moment. I feel like you are celebrating for your birthday. And that I'm getting here, really, there's something about a celebration that can be insightful. Taurus kind of got something very similar, but it wasn't in the same strength. Like, I feel like literally a celebration, which I kind of get birthday vibes, could be just something enlightening there for you. But it comes with new beginnings. So something new. Something, again, that you may not have thought. Warrior woman, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? Keep that in mind. I think that fears are making you make the rash decisions that are against maybe what you want as well. I feel like whatever it is that you're choosing, it's not necessarily what you want. It's more, it's like you have to fight. You're just choosing to be this fighter. But what would you do if you weren't afraid of something happening which was the opposite of what you're choosing? What would you do? Would you choose to just go for it? This is kind of an energy that I'm feeling for you. And I feel like a celebration, there may be like an insightful moment, whether it comes into a new year and you have this like epiphany moment. Maybe you're very drunk, maybe you're intoxicated in other ways. That gives you this kind of vibe where you're like, I don't care about anything. Like, why am I fighting? Why am I going, like, holding on to that toxic thing over here that's making you see yourself as a victim? Like, what happens if I choose to just let it all go? And I feel like if you choose to not be afraid to just do that, it could open the doors again to this moment, that golden phoenix moment of being reborn, and that new lease of life. We're ending now with your final card, Frog Princess, heed wide counsel and listen. So I do feel like there's words of wisdom. Seek the counsel that you need. Weirdly, so Taurus is sort of saying, don't listen to what others have to say. Trust in your own intuition. This to me is actually saying, like, wise words can come from others, and maybe you should listen to somebody, which is really weird because I don't actually, usually that's against what I suggest. But this is kind of saying, like, I feel as though there's, words from other people are coming from a place that's now, and as I'm saying that, what just came to my mind that stopped me, it's like people who love you and have your best interest at heart. So be mindful of that, of knowing. So, because I do feel like there are people that are trying to hold us back right now that give wrong advice. This feels like the resistance to you is that these people are people that are saying things that you don't want to hear, but they actually have your best interest at heart. The people that you may actually be likely to listen to are those that are saying in alignment with your thoughts. And I feel like that is not in alignment with what actually is truly what's right for you. I feel like you need to listen to people that maybe care for you. I'm getting kind of a male present. I know this says Frog Princess, but I feel as though that there is, I do feel feminine as well, but I feel like maybe like a father figure or something like this might give you words. And again, you want to be resistant to that, like most of us are. When our parents say something, we want to be like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's too old. I feel like actually that they probably coming from a space where they just know what's in your best interest. That could be beneficial for you, Capricorn. Keep that in mind. Apply it to where you are. Frog is with this. So again, I don't know why I'm getting parental. So keep that in mind. It could be mom as well. It doesn't have to be feminine. Again, we may have parents that are, everybody embodies different things. Some people are a little bit more masculine, some people are more feminine. If you have a parental role that is more on the masculine side, even though it says Frog Princess, I just feel that there could be some really advice from that perspective. And again, gender neutral ways. If you have somebody who embodies, sorry guys, my laptop, I'm in the sun now and I don't want it to overheat, so I have a towel, it keeps falling down, so I'll put that up. Yeah, someone who's maybe gender neutral could be as well there for some of you. Keep that in mind. Obviously, it will make sense to you or it won't. Communication. I'm getting you being very stubborn, so check up on that. Remember, if you weren't afraid, what would you choose? Stubbornness sometimes holds us back because stubbornness is kind of it's like a fear. We're afraid to accept anything less than what feels comfortable, than what feels right, which then makes us keeps us from making wise choices, or it keeps us from growth and learning something new because we are not open to it. And you were somewhere, I probably put it away, to be open to something. So keep that in mind, Capricorn. I really love this reading. It is very kind of hard for you in the beginning, but it's what needs to be said, what needs to be heard for you. Thank you so much for being here. Again, please subscribe to my channel for any future updates. And yeah, I'm hoping to build my channel this year, so watch this space. Click that follow button. Thank you. Happy New Year, guys, and many blessings to you.